Welcome to NUIG Sports Arena for the last weekend of the Basketball Ireland Super League season. We've got Moycullen in action against Killorglin, and you've just joined us for the first play of the game, and straight off the bat it's a foul against the big man from Turkey, Iberk Talon, to get things going for Moycullen. Moycullen was starting lineup of James Kinnair, recently back from the United States. Kyle Cunningham has been the hot hand in recent weeks. Grant Olson, of course, leading scorer for the team this year. Iberk Talon, and a man who'll run the show for us today, Owen Kelly, at the point guard spot. But it's Killorglin who are on the attack right now, and it's a drive there from Simon Francis, but he's got his shot blocked by Kyle Cunningham, and all of that leaves us with 4.2 seconds left on the shot clock. Killorglin on a nice inbound play there, and that's well done. Crafted up here by Declan Wall, the player coach for Killorglin, on the sideline, and they get off and running with the first possession of the game, so it's 2-0 to the visitors. Iberk drives strong after there's no options on the pass, manages to draw the foul, and that foul is going to go against Shane O'Connell of Killorglin. Killorglin today starting with Liam Croke, Shane O'Connell. Two players would have come up through the Kerry underage structures, of course, and then they've got Jabi Arriaga, and they are going with Alan Thomas, they're American, and Simon Francis. Grant gets a rebound off a good James Kinnair tip from the missed Iberk free throw, but it bounces off in Moycullen hand in the end, and it's going to be Killorglin ball going the other way. Alan Thomas, who will be the point guard for Killorglin, he's going to set up the offense for the visitors from the Kingdom. Owen Kelly's being the man charged with trying to marshal Thomas today. Probably Moycullen's best perimeter defender, and that'll be an interesting matchup throughout the contest, but right now it's James Kinnair who's got it on the low block, and he puts it back out to Iberk, who little shot fake drives, spins, puts up the shot. It's an air ball, but James Kinnair is right there who collects it. Still plenty of time left on the shot clock. It's down at 8 seconds as Owen Kelly checks his options, kicks it to Kyle Cunningham, who drives and perhaps had a chance for the shot, but goes for the pass instead. Gets it back and forces up a tough shot in traffic. Doesn't go. Killorglin coming back down the court here with Liam Croke in possession, taking a screen off teammate Shane O'Connell. But it's east-west at the moment from Killorglin. Ball finds its way to Simon Francis and back to O'Connell, who runs a little handoff here with Alan Thomas, who gets down the lane nicely, and a kick out to the corner to Simon Francis. He can't find the range, and it's Kyle Cunningham coming the other way from Moycullen. James Kinnair gets as far as the free throw line, kicks it to Kyle, who doesn't take the shot, instead goes into the post to Grant Olson, who's a nice little hook shot, and that's great to see Grant off and running early. 2 points from the top scorer for Moycullen this year, the man from Kansas, who's had a really excellent second season with Moycullen. Looking to finish on a high and hopefully get 2 wins from 2 in this, the last weekend of the Basketball Ireland Men's Super League season. A lovely little jab step move there from Shane O'Connell, the man from Castle Island, getting all the way to the ring and finishing strong. And Kyle just loses the handle and going the other way with speed as Liam Croke, and he does very well to ignore the attentions of Owen Kelly and finishes strong. And Killorglin off to an excellent start here. No rust off the bus from them, and they've got a 6-3 early lead in the NUIG Sports Arena. Lovely ball moving from Moycullen. They find Kyle Cunningham wide open for 3. That's a good looking shot, just ends up short. Kyle manages to follow the ball and gets his own rebound. Of course, there's 9 left on the shot clock only now. Kyle does well to draw 2 defenders, kicks it out to Iberk, and that's a great looking shot from Iberk. So good drive and dish from Kyle. Iberk hits the 3, and we're level at 6 points apiece after 3 minutes of play. Good defense from Moycullen leads to a steal from Kyle Cunningham, and it's James Kinnair who's pushing, looking for options on the fast break. It's ultimately gone back to a trail to Iberk, who's a nice little shot fake, 1 step inside and misses the 2. James Kinnair, who is a deceptively good offensive rebounder, really long arms and very active, gets the ball back to ultimately Grant Olson, who's a line drive 3 from the top. It's too long and gives Killorglin the chance to push the other way. Ball after some nice ball movement, eventually finds Liam Croke, who's that's a really nice little Euro step move, but just couldn't get it to go. It's Owen Kelly now. Leads the fast break from Moycullen. Looks like he was going to take the 3, turns it down and hits it into Iberk, but takes the ball back at the point spot and looks to set up a more structured offense with 13 seconds on the shot clock. Grant drives strong to the ring, but that's equally good defense by Javi Arriaga. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds for Moycullen ball. Dylan Cunningham now checking into the game for Iberg Talon. Dylan's had an excellent run of form over the last couple of weeks, but he's going to be coming in on defense because that was deemed to be a ball off Grant's hand. Grant certainly doesn't agree, but the referees have determined that it will be a Killorglin ball, and they'll have a chance to try and re-establish their lead after they had an early start and have since cooled off with a couple of possessions yielding nothing. And he gets perhaps a little bit unlucky, call for a travel there. Simon Francis, not sure I saw what it was, and the Killorglin team certainly looked quite confused. Declan Wall, I don't think agrees with that call. Maybe it was a bit of a balance out. I thought it was Moycullen ball from the last possession, so we have ultimately ended back with a home team possession, and they'll have a chance to set up their offense, and they're doing that right now through Grant Olsen at the top to James Kinnair, over to Kyle Cunningham on the wing, hits it back off the flare screen to James Kinnair, who spins down the lane, but perhaps in two minds as to what to do, and ultimately leads to an Alan Thomas 1-on-3 fast break. He takes, I think, the right decision and pulls it back out. Good transition defense there from Moycullen. Ball goes into the post and back again to Alan Thomas on a little give and go. He does very well and finishes two, and Killorglin get back to a 2-point lead. Kyle getting nothing off Liam Croke on the wing, but manages to draw two defenders at the end, and he finds his way back to his older brother Dylan Cunningham, who swings it in turn to James Kinnair in the corner. Nice drive on the baseline from James, back out to Kyle, swings it to Grant. That's nice ball movement from Moycullen. Grant lines up the three, and that looks sweet from the start. Moycullen take their first lead of the game, 9 points to 8. Two teams, of course, who are fairly close together in the Basketball Ireland Men's Super League season. Fair to say Killorglin have had a better year overall, but it's a game Moycullen will have looked as one that they definitely could win. These sides have been fairly close together in the Super League since Killorglin's entry, and Moycullen keeping their good run going there. They get a point on the fast break from an excellent Dylan Cunningham pass, and that's cause for a timeout for Declan Wall and Killorglin. We'll be back with you right after this timeout's over. So we're back now with the Killorglin inbound ball after that fast break Moycullen basket. Let's see what Declan Wall has drawn up for his team coming out of the timeout. Well, at the moment it's Liam Croke under ferocious pressure from Kyle Cunningham. Croke loses his footing but regains his composure to put it into Shane O'Connell. O'Connell going up against Dylan Cunningham, basically forced to take a turnaround. That's good defense from Dylan. And Grant Olsen has a chance to snatch down the rebound and push the break, which he duly does. Drives strong to the basket, kicks it out to James Kinnair. James with an open three from the corner, just short from James, and it's Killorglin through Alan Thomas, who pushes the ball up the wing to Javi Arriaga. Arriaga, one of the better three-point shooters in the league, and someone I know that Coach John Cunningham has talked about during the week as trying to keep a close eye on from the perimeter. He hasn't got off the run yet. Simon Francis, another one who is a dead-eye shooter, and Moycullen will be disappointed to have given him that open look. Don't let the height of Arriaga and Francis deceive you. They are knockdown three-point shooters, which Francis shows clearly on that occasion. So Moycullen coming back now, trying to answer in this tied ball game, 11 apiece. Kyle Cunningham drives strong, gets blocked by Shane O'Connell. And Declan Wall calling his own number Moycullen fans will remember Declan from his many years with Castle Island and some absolutely fantastic battles Moycullen and Castle Island had in the division just below Super League, the National League. Great to see Declan still out and playing well. Back with his home club, Killorglin, of course. Owen Kelly goes straight at him, drives the lane, kicks it out to James Kinnair, who takes one dribble, kicks it to Grant. Grant shoots the three right on the shot clock buzzer. Good offense from Moycullen. Don't get the reward. It's gone out of bounds, and they get a reward of an extra possession. A little bit of a delayed response from the referees, but it is ultimately a Moycullen ball. Dylan Cunningham and Declan Wall exchange a few pleasantries. Discussion about the call, but it's left with Owen Kelly, who's going to inbound it to Dylan, who swings it over as far as Grant. Checks for the shot, decides not to take the three. It's gone back to Owen with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Owen drives strong, kicks it to James Kinnair in the corner. James with the three, it's just short again. A couple of shots from James have been good line, but just short. Hopefully he finds his distance. Still probably settling back in after having been in America until recently. He's getting to take a break right now, and Josh Marvesley, who has been a starter for most of the season, comes into the game. Josh started the season really hot with putting up a number of 20-point games. Cooled down slightly as the season's gone on. Let's hope he finishes as strong with some good performances this weekend. It's Killorglin right now into Simon Francis, who takes a little turnaround break, and Francis has started the hot hand for Killorglin, and they retake the lead 13-11. Owen Kelly off the back of the screen. Great to see Owen taking that shot. Teams have been giving it to him all year, and he can knock it down. Grant as well get the offensive rebound, but can't get the two. Moycullen have been absolutely ferocious on the offensive boards. By my mark, I think that's 5 offensive boards Moycullen have so far, and Josh Marvesley gets the reward from the hard work between himself and Grant. It's a jump ball that is going Moycullen's way with 2 minutes and 32 seconds left on the clock. So a word of thanks to our table officials today: Barry Kinnair, led by Commissioner Aidan O'Neill, Paul O'Brien and Ronan Waters. They're having a quick discussion with Katrina White, the referee, today on some of the exact rulings on the shot clock, as Issa Brandon is asked to take off a small bit of jewellery before he checks into the game for Killorglin. He, of course, is an American player, so he will split his time with Alan Thomas. Issa has the earrings off and is ready to partake. He comes in marking Josh Marvesley. Oh, and Moycullen just get their wires crossed on that inbound, unfortunately. I think the argument here is that there was a tip, and so it shouldn't have been a backcourt call. The referee blew the whistle, and then Dylan, on account of that whistle, threw the ball away. So it might be Moycullen basketball as we come back here. Dylan, of course, always quick to point out the exact minutiae of the rules to both the opponents and referees. He's letting Simon Francis know exactly what is going here, but the referees have disagreed with him. That was an unfortunate one, and Moycullen did get their wires crossed, so I think fair is fair. Killorglin ball. Now, I don't think Declan Wall should have been allowed to inbound the ball into the backcourt. That in itself should be a backcourt violation. But in fairness, the referees have said it was their mistake by allowing him line up there. So anyways, Killorglin has the ball after all of that. Declan Wall driving baseline. As quick a step from a 43-year-old as you're going to see in the Basketball Ireland Super League this season. Issa Brandon now straight into the game, looks to attack, drives up against Dylan Cunningham. Dylan stands his ground well, and it is an air ball from Brandon. So good stance from Dylan Cunningham. And after all that back and forth, it's Moycullen who have a chance to try and level proceedings here in the first quarter in the NUG Sports Arena. Kyle Cunningham does well, drives strong past Liam Croke. Grant gets the ball knocked away, but as always, battles so strong, picks up the loose ball, and he goes up for 2, gets fouled, and will be going to the free throw line. The foul is going on 7, that's Issa Brandon. Not a huge concern for Killorglin, seeing as they're going to be splitting the time between Brandon and Thomas in any case, so barring a real hack-a-shack tactic from Killorglin, it's hard to imagine either of them are going to get into too much foul trouble. Grant knocks down the first. Two from Grant. Got a tight ball game again. It's been real nip and tuck so far in this one, and odds on that's the way it's going to continue for the rest of the game. We should be in for a good one today in Galway. Turnaround jumper doesn't go from Simon Francis. Thanks for Moycullen. He has slightly cooled off in the closing minutes of this first quarter. It's with Yeah, with Josh there, who drives baseline, and he was tripped. I think it's going to be against Declan Wall. Yes, it is against Declan Wall. Veteran player coach. Not going to let Josh get all the way to the basket too easy. First foul on Declan, and it's going to be Grant Olsen taking the ball from the baseline. He swings it to Dylan Cunningham. Backdoor cut from Josh. Ends up in a down screen for Grant, who calls set the ball screen for Owen. Owen driving around the key, kicks it out as far as Josh, who takes a couple of dribbles, can't get a shot off. Good defense from Brandon. Eventually he's out with Owen Kelly though, who has an open jumper but just can't make it drop. And Clorglen are coming the other way and fast. It's Francis who kicks to Brandon, and eventually finds his way to Croke, back to Wall. Declan Wall for three, and we've been seeing him do that in Galway for 20 plus years. Declan Wall sniffs the chance, knocks down the three. Clorglen take the lead again, 16-13. Owen Kelly into the basket, out to the new man into the game, that is Jimmy Lyons. Shot clock now at 8 as Owen Kelly takes the screen off Dylan Cunningham. Kicks it out to Josh Marvesley, who does not hesitate, puts up the three, and Josh hits his first three of the game. As I say, Josh scored very well early in the season, has cooled off a little bit as the campaign has gone on. As we're under a minute to play in this game, and we're back at level scores, 16 apiece. Grant Olsen now with the ball, little stutter step, gets into the key, kicks it to Josh, who for some reason turns down the three after having just made one. Maybe a good decision, because Dylan does very well to find the contact down the lane. He draws another foul off Simon Francis. Dylan going to the line for two. Really good start from Moycullen. Great ball movement, sharing possession, a lot of different options on attack. We've had a number of different guys going to the free throw line, getting good looks. I'm sure Coach Cunningham will in general be delighted with the start from his team. Dylan as close to going in as it could without actually dropping, rattles around and falls out. Clorglen are lining up Ronan Fitzpatrick to come into the game. Whether he'll get in before the quarter ends or not, hard to see. Dylan just didn't line his stuff up correctly there and misses everything. And indeed, Ronan Fitzpatrick off that miss does get into the game. He's coming in for Liam Croke. Ronan, another guy who came up through the Clorglen underage structure. Great to see players coming up through club structures and getting valuable minutes in Super League games. Declan Wall now with the ball, taking the screen off Issa Brandon, kicks it over as far as Javi Arriaga into Brandon, who drives strong. Good defense from James Lyons. He's saying that all game as long as James is in the contest. Great defender, and it's all ultimately led to a fast break for Grant Olsen, who Euro steps his way to the basket, 18-16 to Moycullen. Or fifth lead change in this first quarter, and what's been brilliant, but Moycullen totally fall asleep there and leave Javi Arriaga out there. Thankfully he misses the shot, so Moycullen take an 18-16 lead into the break. This one looks like it's going to be a good contest all the way through. We'll be back with you right after this quarter break. So it was Ibert Talon's wife there who is giving the Newark Challenge attempt. Thanks very much to Newark, sponsors that every game. You get a ticket coming into the game, you get drawn out, you get a chance at a wide open three-pointer, you knock down the three-pointer, you get €50, thanks to Newark Construction, one of our great sponsors all season. Of course, special word of thanks to McCann's Centre in Moycullen, who are game sponsor, and Aerogen, who are the ball sponsor for today. Thank you to all our sponsors throughout the season, without whom there is simply no way we could have a Super League season. And McCann's and Aerogen, along with Newark, three of our great sponsors. So a reminder, while we've got a little bit of a break in play as the Technical difficulties with the clock are being sorted out. To remind everyone, we do have a game tomorrow at 4 p.m. Last game of the season. We welcome our friends from Cork City in Neptune Basketball Club. The Blackpool club in Cork City will be up to finish off. It's been another really enjoyable season. Tough results on the court overall from the lads. We did get 2 wins so far. Hopefully we'll finish with 4. But a really competitive year. Lots of really close games. Looks like we've got another one right in front of us today. We've had 5 lead changes already, and it stands at 18-16. But we do hope you can make it in for the game tomorrow if you haven't managed to join us today. So he might have been Basketball Ireland Coach of the Month on 2 occasions, but Paul O'Brien is struggling to get the table working correctly here. He's the man on the score sheet, and he's also been charged with trying to work our electronics for the day. He is working with Ronan Waters and Barry Kinnair, our table officials for the day, along with Adrian O'Neill, the Commissioner. Barry Kinnair has washed his hands of any responsibility for it and blaming Paul, but he doesn't get the credit for it being fixed either. We're back and running, and Killorglin at the point guard spot here with Issa Brandon, who stayed in the game as Alan Thomas gets a further rest. Joe Tumman into the game for Moycullen. He backs off the screen and gives Declan Wall a chance at the 3, but Declan doesn't get it on that occasion. He instead passes straight into Issa Brandon, and I think there's going to be an issue with the clock here again.
That's all. You can't give that.
No, it's just an issue with the shot clock going back to 14 or not. So Killorglin have the ball from the sideline. 14 seconds on the shot clock. They are trailing by 2 to the home team, Moycullen. Issa Brandon coming around the corner, kicks it out as far as Jabi Arriaga. It's going to be an off the ball foul on Joe Tumman. Joe, of course, normally a starter for Moycullen, had a few issues getting to training this week. Joe's up in Dublin working at the moment. So John Cunningham, perhaps just thinking he might have a bit of rust, sends Joe to the bench to start the game today, but he's in now and he's got a foul nice and early. Ronan Fitzpatrick on that occasion gets a shot blocked by James Lyons, and that's fantastic defence from Moycullen. Stop Killorglin on a number of occasions, and their reward is holding on to their 2-point lead and getting to come the opposite way with a chance to extend that. Grant Olsen moves to the point guard position for the possession. I wonder, is he going to call his own number, but the Killorglin defence breaks down earlier than that, and Joe has a chance to get to the basket. They recover, and it's back out ultimately with Grant on the wing, who kicks it as far as James Lyons, squares up, gives a little jab step, takes the 3, doesn't go. Josh marvellously in after the rebound, but he doesn't get it. And fantastic, Owen Kelly with just a superb step, and well, that is absolutely fantastic defence. Owen read the move brilliantly, steps across, cuts off the driving lane to start the fast break. Josh quick as a flash onto it, they get the steal, and it's Moycullen inbound at the end. Owen Kelly, the man who's going to call the play. Ball's out with Joe Tumman now on the wing. Joe hits Grant on the curl from the down screen. Grant finds a bit of space down the wing, and that's a lovely kiss off the grass from Grant. Moycullen really flowing well, up 20 points to 16. It was quite a one-sided affair down in Kerry, where Killorglin, I think somewhat surprisingly, blew out Moycullen, if truth be told. Close game for most of the first half, if memory serves me right. But Killorglin stretched out in the second half. We would have been expecting a close game down there. We're expecting a close game here today, and Moycullen, at the moment, have the better they're going. Issa Brandon gets nothing on that drive, a little bit of frustration, and he picks up his second foul. And foul off the rebound. Grant Olsen again jumps to the point guard spot. Again, let's see if he calls his own number on it. He does on that fade. Great to see Grant be aggressive. He's creating really good offense early in the game. It's ultimately here with Owen though after a bit of a breakdown. He's got 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Kicks it back to Grant, who steps up and takes responsibility. 3 doesn't go. Joe Tumman, really good battle on the board from Joe. And he gets his reward with a wide open 3. Big Joe just off, but it's back with Josh marvellously. Hometown bias here, but Moycullen have just shown far more fight on every one of those boards. They have 7, maybe 8 offensive rebounds already. Can Owen convert that into a basket? He doesn't, but it's almost another offensive rebound. Moycullen are just out of bounds with 3 offensive rebounds on the same possession. Let's see if Issa Brandon there letting the referees have a piece of his mind on the way out. He is not a happy camper. The Moycullen defence, I am sure, serving part of his frustration. He's been bottled up nicely so far, and we'll see if his fellow American Alan Thomas can have a little bit more luck. He comes straight in and is aggressive and goes long. James Lyons with the rebound, a little stutter step against Ronan Fitzpatrick and gets the ball up the court nice and quickly. Goes to Grant, swings over to Owen, back to Josh on the baseline. Josh shot fakes and drives, ultimately stops and pops. Josh off with a nice quick start. That's 5 points from Josh in limited minutes so far, and he is giving Moycullen a 22 to 16 point lead. That's Moycullen's largest lead of the game so far. Really good start for Moycullen. Arriaga now, that's not good defense for Moycullen. He is a man they will have targeted as not allowed to get open. He misses that occasion, and Owen Kelly comes the opposite way. Really nice cut from Grant, nice pass from Owen, and a good finish from Grant. Moycullen might be playing for any silverware, but Parish Pride on the line, and they have come out fired up, really wanting to finish the season on a high note. It's been Simon Francis who had been the hot hand for Clorgan to start. He misses on that occasion. Grant pushes the ball, lovely alley-oop pass to Josh Marvesley, and Moycullen are flowing. There is a puzzled Declan Wall on the sideline here for Clorgan. He has no answer so far for this Moycullen offense, who have stormed out to a 26 to 16 point lead. 10 point gap for the home team. But the professional, the man who's getting the paycheck, Alan Thomas, takes responsibility, steps up to the mark, gets down the line, and a really good move from him. Smart play, getting to the free throw line, slowing things down, just as Joe Turman, who had some excellent minutes there, checks into the game. Checks out of the game with Ivor Talon coming back, and Kyle Cunningham also lining up for Moycullen. He'll be coming in at the next available opportunity. But right now it's Alan Thomas at the line for Clorgan. He makes the first, and that stops a rot for Clorgan. Gets them on the scoreboard in this second quarter in a period that has been dominated by Moycullen. Not sure what Kyle Cunningham did wrong on the subs bench there, but he's been pulled back down to the sideline, so we won't see him at the next break and play. Clorgan go 2 from 2, and they draw the lead back down to 8 points for Moycullen. Owen Kelly lining up the offense, finds Grant Olsen in the block. Grant with a beautiful move, and Grant is in fine form so far today. Really nice reverse layup from the man from Kansas. Francis lines up the 3, and he has gone cold after a really fast start. Good Moycullen defense, it has to be said. He was under pressure on that 3-point shot, ends up leaving it short, and Moycullen have a chance to extend the lead further. Ibert, nice and patient, lovely little swing drop step, and a nice little move there on Shane O'Connell. Ibert, so crafty in and around the post. Beautiful move there with a hook shot. Ball finds its way to Alan Thomas in the post for Clorgan. He tries to use a little bit of bulk move against Owen Kelly. You're not going to get too much off Owen in the post. Really strong physical player is Owen. Good defense from there, and ultimately Moycullen with the ball attacking. Josh Marvesley, no hesitation, takes the 3, and Josh is having one of those days. Absolutely scored in Kate Scott. Us, Josh, and we've got a timeout here from Clorgan. It's 33 to 18 from Moycullen. This is what we like to see. We'll be back with you right after this break. So Fulcher Ash, Clorgan with the ball here, trying to really get the show back on the road. They had a nice start, got a 6-2 lead at the beginning, but it's Moycullen who have since established a 15-point gap in their favour. They've come back with Liam Croke at the point guard position, perhaps got away with an offensive foul against Jimmy Lyons there, wasn't called by the referee, so it's with Shane O'Connell who drives strong to the basket, but too strong in the end off the board. He misses that one. Owen Kelly comes the other way, and Moycullen have just been sharper to everything and faster up and down the court. If it hadn't been for Grant losing his footing at the unfortunate time there, I think there might have been 2 more points. He does. It's blocked out of bounds, and Moycullen will run their possession from the baseline. Owen Kelly the man to take it out. Yeah, we're just going to get a little bit of a wipe of the court here. So during the break again, just a quick thank to our sponsors, McCann's Centre in Moycullen. Huge thanks to our game sponsor, and Aerogin, of course. Very proud to have Moycullen man John Power leading such an innovative company at the forefront of medical technology around the world. One of our great sponsors, Aerogin. Josh Marvesy now on the attack, kicks it over as far as Owen Kelly, who waits for some supporting troops to come in. It's Ivor Talon who is the man who trails and misses the 3. Clorgan snap up the ball, and Simon Francis is the one to bring up the other end of the court. It finds its way to Liam Croke, who kicks it out as far as Arriaga. Arriaga misses everything. He's making me look like a fool for saying he's one of the best shooters in the league. He has got nothing going so far today. Misses everything on that occasion, and Josh Marvesley has the ball in the corner, swings it out as far as Owen Kelly, who will set up the offense with 13 seconds on the shot clock, takes the screen off Ivor. Ultimately, the Clorgan defense, which has been sagging really deep all game, stops the drive, but due to Clorgan really playing far too conservative a defensive strategy for this level, have been given Moycullen open shot after open shot. Jimmy Lyons is the one who punishes on that occasion, and it's 36-18, double scores here in NUIG Sports Arena. Quick maths from your commentator there, I'm proud of that one. Simon Francis, the man who drives to the basket, gets knocked out of his hands, out of his knee. And it's Moycullen ball going the other way.
Let's go, Moycullen.
So Moycullen Shea Pointy Jag, Contussi Anish in the second quarter here in the NUIG Sports Arena. Grant Olsen, the man who will line things up, kicks it to Jimmy Lyons, and Arca Loughlin playing any defence at all. He's left absolutely wide open in the corner. Doesn't get that one to go, but he'll take that all day long. Jimmy, the man who gets all the way back from one corner to stop the fast break on the other side. Liam Croke is the player on that drive, driving strong, drawing the contact, and going to the line for 2. James Kinnair about to check in for Moycullen. James Lyons, the one to make way. James getting a warm reception from his teammates on the bench. Excellent minutes from James. Only his first foul of the game. Liam Croke at the line for Clorgan. No good on the first attempt. But he makes the second. Shouts of zone coming out here from the Moycullen defence. It does look like it's a 2-3 zone from Clorgan with they've gone with Alan Thomas and Croke at the front, trying to slow down the Moycullen offense in some way. They've had no luck so far. They're hoping obviously the zone will do that. Liam Croke now on the sideline, kicks it out as far as Thomas, who shot fakes, one dribble, goes for the bank shot, no good, and Owen Kelly coming the opposite way. Finds Grant Olsen on the wing, and there are just acres of space against that Clorgan zone. They must be open, and Moycullen are just going to simply not make shots because the shots are there to be taken. Good time for Moycullen sharpshooter Carl Cunningham to be checking back in. He should find plenty of room out there. Owen Kelly, I think it's his first break of the game. Excellent first quarter and a half. Well, quarter and nearly 2 full quarters from Owen. Such a hard worker out there. Of course, Moycullen's best defender as well, Owen, so the task of keeping track of Alan Thomas goes to Kyle Cunningham instead. Thomas straight away attacks it, but excellent help defense from Ibert, who does just enough, allows Kyle to come the other way. Oh, beautiful drive and dish from Kyle. There really should have been an and one. James Kinnair gets the 2, anyways, unfortunate enough to get the 3-point play. As Moycullen stretch out to 38 points. They've struggled to get over 80 in games this year. They're on course at the moment to get over 80, and that would be Really welcome news for John Cunningham. Their defence as well rolling as Killorglin have been all out of sorts. Croke and Arriaga not on the same page. Ball drifts out of bounds. Moycullen go the other way with 2 minutes 23 left on the clock in the first half here in the NUIG Sports Arena. Killorglin still in this 2-3 zone, perhaps drifting up into a 2-1-2 with Shane O'Connell in the middle at the back. But he's the man now who's right beside Grant Olsen in the post. It's back out to Josh Marversey who takes the 3. Moycullen have gone a bit cold from deep. But Killorglin not have been able to capitalise on the other end. Simon Francis in that occasion, who lazy pass gets knocked out of bounds, but they will get the ball from the baseline and have a chance to regroup. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Alan Thomas the man to take it out of bounds. O'Connell, shot fake on Ibert, doesn't go anywhere. Back with Thomas at the top, who comes off the ball screen, swings it over as far as Francis, who lines up a 3, and he'd missed a number in a row, but he had started the game hot. He connects on that one. Killorglin break the 20-point mark. It's 38-22. They remain in this 2-3 zone. Let's see what Moycullen come up with against it. Ball is with Grant Olsen on the baseline. He's simply left wide open, and in fact the extra space that Grant Olsen. So there's just a ball that rolled across the court from our youngsters who will be entertaining the crowd at the halftime break. So in between grabbing a cup of tea or coffee and a biscuit, tune back in. The camera will still be on them. We'll have the stars of the future out on court at the halftime break. Balls with O'Connell on the wing. Jab fake against Iberk. Gets all the way to the ring, and it's a foul against Iberk. Called for the push, and they're calling that a continuation, so O'Connell will go to the line for 2.
Iberk. Right up.
It's the second foul on Iberk. And O'Connell has not had a good time from the line so far today. Misses on that one, and Killorglin need everything they can get right now to claw their way back into the game. They're trailing by 16 points. A game they certainly, you imagine, would have circled on the calendar as one they could win. They've had a somewhat up and down season, but they did manage to beat Moycullen down in Kerry earlier in the year and would have been hoping to make it 2 from 2. It's not been going their way so far today. This zone has been paying some dividends to them, as Moycullen have gone a little bit dry from outside and have been restricted really to 3-point shots since Killorglin have gone to that zone. It's done just enough to knock Moycullen out of rhythm, and it's been several minutes since they've scored. Killorglin now getting to the line a little bit more. 2 attacks in a row, they'll be going to the line, and John Cunningham is going to maybe just talk over the Moycullen offense just a little bit against that zone. It's going to be a timeout for Moycullen, and we'll be back to you in 1 minute's time. Alan Thomas at the line for Killorglin. He makes the first, brings Killorglin's tally to 24 on the game. Just a note to say that that foul before the break on Iberk was Iberk's 3rd, something Moycullen are going to have to keep an eye on. Thomas makes no mistake, goes 2 from 2. Owen Kelly into the game for Josh. Let's see exactly what the thinking of Coach Cunningham is behind that. surely they're going to come out with a little bit more of a focused attack against the zone that has stumped them somewhat. They've got good looks but just missed them, and whatever they'd drawn up, that wasn't it. Falls through Owen Kelly's hands. Killorglin coming the other way with O'Connell, who drives strong. Maybe a little bit unfortunate to not get the foul call. She stays playing. Back ball out to Thomas. Comes off the ball screen, takes the three, and Killorglin have put together a nice run. They've got back to within 10. Some fine play from Thomas and Arriaga leading the way for the visitors from Kerry. They're in the zone. It's Owen Kelly who's come to the high post, kicks it out as far as Kyle Cunningham. Moycullen offense going a little bit slow here. It's with Joe Tumman at the top, who just simply drives straight down the lane. Good luck from Joe. Doesn't go. Killorglin coming the other way. And just haven't been themselves today. Arriaga, I'm not sure what he was thinking there. It's gone back to Moycullen, who have a chance to get a fast break, which would be a nice way to get some rhythm back, but ball just spills out of Grant's hands. He thought it was fouled, it ends up in a block. Killorglin have a chance in the fast break, but really excellent transition defense from Moycullen. Owen Kelly cuts it off as Arriaga looks to get himself going. That's a worry for Moycullen. Oh, and I had lost track of the time there as well, so Killorglin ended with a fantastic run. It had been 16 points at one stage, it's back to 7. We've got the under 10 Moycullen boys here at half time for you. Oh, it was a 2-point here. Basketball Ireland, two-time coach of the month, Paul O'Brien on the score sheet with the quick shout out here. So it's an 8-point game, half-time break now. You can keep your eye on the under 10 boys who'll be entertaining the crowd. But other than that, we'll be back to you in around about 14 minutes time. Welcome back for the second half here. Killorglin going out with Liam Croke, Shane O'Connell, Anil Thomas, Jabi Ariaga and Simon Francis. Moycullen going with Owen Kelly, Kyle Cunningham, Grant Olsen, James Kinnair and Dylan Cunningham. Owen Kelly is the one with the ball. He swings it over to Kyle, takes the screen from big brother Dylan, lines it up against Francis, kicks it out to Grant Olsen, who's wide open. That looked good from here, but it's just short. Moycullen get yet another offensive rebound. They dominated the offensive boards in the first half. Owen Kelly takes the screen from Grant, but it's blocked. Good defense there from, I think it was Shane O'Connell. And it's going to be a Killorglin ball going the other way. So the story of the first half was a quick Killorglin start, followed up by mostly Moycullen dominance and then a very strong Killorglin end. Moycullen led by as much as 16 points, but it's a 8-point game at the moment. Killorglin will obviously be hoping to see if they can keep that momentum they finished the first half with. And right now it's a two-man game between Ariaga and Francis. They're two probably top shooters. Thomas perhaps will have something to argue with that, but they don't get any rewards on that trip, and it's Owen Kelly who swings it over to Kyle Cunningham, who hasn't really managed to get many three-point shots off yet today. He has been shooting the ball really well. It's in his zone right now. It's swung to Kyle and he is open there, takes the three, and that one's short, but he gets his own rebound, kicks it to Grant at the top of the key, who passed it back out to Owen Kelly. Owen will have a go. That one's short. Someone check the height in these rings, because everything from Moycullen is falling short and they end up getting called for an offensive foul. So it's an offensive foul against James Kinnair. His father Barry gives up the one foul symbol on the table. No foul trouble concern as of yet, thankfully. It's Ariaga at the three-point line. It ends up bouncing off the ring off the shot clock, and that's an out of bounds. It'll be Moycullen possession. Owen Kelly and Kyle Cunningham will bring the ball up the court. Still an 8-point game. We've got 8 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock in the third quarter of this Basketball Ireland Men's Super League contest. Southern Conference. Owen Kelly takes another three. That's deadline, and he knocks that one down. And Killorglin playing with fire a little bit. They've got value from the zone in that it's slowed down the Moycullen offense and has restricted the three-point shots, but my God, are they giving them open three-point shots. I'm nearly tempted to throw on a jersey and get back out and play, because you can get any look you want out there. Owen Kelly makes them pay that time. Connects on the three, but Killorglin with some nice offense of their own, and that's a lovely play from Alan Thomas, who spins down the lane, jumps, passes the ball into Shane O'Connell. Shane finishes strong at the basket. It's score good, and the foul. Going to be a one free throw attempt to get 3 points the old-fashioned way for O'Connell. Rematch of some good battles between Shane O'Connell and Owen Kelly down through the ages. They would have played each other a lot coming up underage. Shane with Castle Island, Owen of course with Moycullen. Kyle Cunningham now has the ball on the wing, little jab step against Liam Croke. Good defense from Croke, stops the attack, and it's ball back with the two Cunninghams on the wing. Kyle, nice crossover, drives, really nice pass to a really good cut from James Kinnair, and that's one for any of the youngsters watching. That cut that James Kinnair just made there under the basket. Our old coach, Salva Camps, was a huge proponent of that particular cut, and you can see his legacy paying off on this Moycullen team with that basket in particular. Moycullen have had a little bit of trouble with the Killorglin pick and roll. Killorglin have got a lot of open looks off it. Thankfully Shane O'Connell can't make them pay, and he misses the bank shot. Moycullen going the other way. Kyle now with the ball on the wing, still against that 2-3 Killorglin zone. Croke and Thomas at the top. Ariaga, Francis and O'Connell at the back. One thing his zone will give up, of course, is offensive rebounds. Moycullen have rebounded the ball really well so far in the game, and that's only going to get stronger against the zone. No box out responsibilities at times. And as I say, it's another offensive rebound, so Moycullen will not trip alone get 2 offensive rebounds. They've got 4 offensive rebounds early on in the second half already. The reward for that is a trip to the line for Grant Olsen. So difficult not to give up a defensive foul after you've given up an offensive rebound. All the momentum is going the opposite way, and so often hands get stuck in there. Grant, one of the best players in the league at hunting down the ball on the offensive glass. He's been doing it all season for Moycullen, leading from the front as captain, and he gets his reward there, connecting on the first free throw and on the second. So good return from Grant. Moycullen go back up by 12 points. Don't think you'll see Moycullen playing zone anytime soon. One of the best man-to-man defensive teams in the league. They'll hang their hat on being able to stop one-on-one, and Owen Kelly giving a fine example of it just there against Thomas, who eventually gets free off a little ball pick. Nice little one dribble pull up against Kyle Cunningham, and you know what, that's just excellent offense. Kyle had a hand up there, but Thomas just too good there. One dribble pull up, knocks it down. Kyle now drives strong down the lane against Liam Crook, and I was distracted slightly there because there was a warning given to Declan Wall, the player coach for Clorglan, to get off the court. I think he had strayed on as a slight extra defender on the sideline. And he's very much back on the sidelines now. Foul called against Clorglan. Shot clock resets to 14, and Owen Kelly will put the ball in for the men from the West, who really been deserving of their lead so far. Great showing so far from this Moycullen team. Kyle again with another drive and dish, hits James Kinnair, who comes up hobbling a little bit, but he looks okay as Shane O'Connell takes it the other way for Clorglan. He's met with Grant Olsen on defence, and good defence from Grant puts him under pressure. The Moycullen scramble defence pays off, ball goes out of bounds, and it will be with Kyle Cunningham to put it in. Quick word of thanks to our sponsors, McCann's Centre in Moycullen, great sponsor of the club, and of course to Aerogen. Proud to have such a leading company coming from Moycullen man John Power, and they're one of the great sponsors of the club as well. Kyle Cunningham now with the ball on the wing. He's got Iberk as an option in the post, doesn't go with that, drives instead and kicks it to Owen Kelly, who is absolutely wide open, but he hits nothing from the three-point attempt. It's an air ball and goes out off a hand, out of bounds. Declan Wall about to check into the game for Clorglan. The player coach calls his number and takes out Shane O'Connell. It's Liam Croak with the ball for Clorglan. Hits it over to Francis, who swings it back through Thomas. His ball's with Wall, who has a little handoff with Croak. Ball comes back to Thomas, who takes his time now. The shot clock's gone down to 7. They've gone east-west, but haven't managed to penetrate yet. The shot clock's at 4. They're going to have to put up a bit of a prayer, and Arriaga's going to have to create. That's an absolute prayer of a shot, and I'm not sure what Clorglan were trying to do in that offense, but whatever it was, it did not work. Moycullen have a chance to come the other way at speed. Ball swings around nicely. It's with Kyle, who drives to the basket. Lovely little looping move from Kyle, but he can't get the hook shot to go. Clorglan now with the chance of their own to break. Arriaga draws the contact well off Dylan Cunningham. I think a good foul from Dylan. It stopped the potential fast break from Clorglan, who will have to now go up against a set Moycullen defence. They've had very little reward from their attacks so far when Moycullen have been able to get back into a half-court defence, other than a few really tough shots from Thomas and Arriaga, Francis at times, who have made ones under pressure. They've still only managed 35 points. So the Moycullen defence in general holding up here well. Hopefully it's not the commentator's curse. And Declan Wall drives to the basket. Again, just a reminder that Declan Wall is, I'm not sure he wants to be saying it, but I believe he's 43, able to get by Josh Marvesley on that occasion. Declan, one of the great players through the years coming out of Kerry. It's an offensive foul against Iberk, and I think that's going to be Iberk's 4th. He is not happy with that call, and he's going to have to go to the bench because he is being called ashore, and Joe Tumman is coming into the game. A little bit of condensation on the ground again. Reminder, while we have a short break in play, that we have the final game of the Super League season tomorrow at 4 p.m. Neptune, the opponents, coming up from Cork. The historically most successful Super League club in the history of Irish basketball. Had those great teams in the 80s, early 90s. And it's still obviously one of the top teams in the country. We're Cup finalists this year, and they'll be on show tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the Kingfisher NUIG Sports Arena. Hope you can make it. Good defence there from Owen Kelly. Alan Thomas got the short half step in him, but Owen recovered. Gets a hand to the ball, knocks it out of bounds, forcing Clorglan to set things up again from the baseline. Ball goes back into Thomas. They're really trying to establish him early in the second half. Find some offensive rhythm. And they're sticking with their 2-3 zone on defence. Moycullen swinging the ball nicely against it, and they've got a wide open 3 from Grant, who again misses it short. It's been all short for Moycullen so far, but they've been doing very well on the offensive glass. That time it's Kyle Cunningham who gets it. So Kyle, good work on the offensive glass, grabs the rebound, puts Moycullen up to 47. It's a 10-point lead as Alan Thomas continues to be aggressive, and we may be getting a taster of what the Killorglin game plan is here in the second half. Zone on defence, and what can Alan Thomas give us on offence? Moycullen relying on a more varied team attack, swinging the ball. Killorglin very much putting the ball in the hands of this man, Alan Thomas, and he has started aggressively and has got a lot of good things going so far. He's at the line for 2 at the moment and makes the first. He brings Killorglin's tally to 38, so it's a 9-point game. Rory Gilson beside me checks the calculator. It is 9 points, 47-38. Pass maths with the leaving cert showing up there. A1 pass maths, don't doubt me. Owen Kelly coming the other way. Josh Marvesley with the ball in the corner. Back out to Owen Kelly, swings it to Grant. Moycullen get a lot of ball movement, not a huge amount of penetration down the middle, and the zone is able to shift side to side, so it's resulted in just 3-pointers for Moycullen without much closer things, but I mean that's as easy a shot as you can possibly get in Super League. And Joe just can't convert. Ball with Declan Wall. Liam Croak, no good on the attack. Moycullen have been at their most dangerous when they're on the fast break. Well, to be honest, like most teams, but the ball gets swiped out of Grant's hands. It's with Croak again, who hits it to Ariag, who looks to make a little Euro step against Owen. Owen good defense, but Ariag a better offense. Gets the 2 to go, and we're right back in a tight contest. It's 7 points. We had 5 early lead changes in the first and second quarter. Nothing since, as Moycullen have established their lead, but since Killorglin have gone to that zone defence, Moycullen mostly restricted to 3-point shots, and they have been short on all of their attempts from deep. And it's allowed Killorglin to come back into the game, even without hitting any great heights themselves on the offensive end, as they've struggled against this really stringent Moycullen defence. But as I say, that Ariaga gets a nice little step away jumper, and it's back to a 5-point game. 2 minutes 30 left on the clock in the third quarter. Moycullen need to start finding some offense against the zone. They need to start finding some penetration, but they settle on this occasion for another 3-point shot. It's Owen Kelly off the back of the ring. It's been nothing but offensive rebounds for Moycullen in terms of generating offense. That's been enough to keep them in the lead so far. Kyle Cunningham doing well. He drives to the basket, gets the foul. He'll be going to the line for 2. And right now the worry for Moycullen must be that other than offensive rebounds, they have got nothing going down the paint against this really sagging Killorglin zone defence. Killorglin rolling the dice and taking a chance that Moycullen simply aren't going to hit enough outside shots. So far, you have to admit it's worked. They've got themselves back to within 5 points, but they've struggled to keep Moycullen off the board. It's led to a number of offensive rebounds, and it's led to Kyle Cunningham being at the line for 2. He misses the first, with a chance now on the second to extend Moycullen's lead to 6. He doesn't take it, so poor return from Kyle at the line, 0 for 2. Remains a 5-point ball game, with Alan Thomas looking to bring it to perhaps within a single score. He swivels down the lane, and he does. Alan Thomas really starting to get going. There's not much going on in the Killorglin offense, if I'm telling the truth, other than Thomas seeing what he can get going. The odd bit from Ariag in the post, but it's been enough. It's been more than Moycullen been able to offer, with a variety of options, but all of them ultimately missing. Josh Marvesley tries to get something different going, driving to the basket. That goes nowhere, and John Cunningham's going to talk things over at a timeout here. Let's see if Moycullen can crack this zone defence when we come back. It's 47-44, and we'll be back to you in 1 minute's time after the timeout. Apologies there, I've been around basketball my whole life. Forgot the timeout was 1 minute long, and with 55 seconds to go, eating cashew nuts at that time was a bad move, and I wasn't ready to come back with commentary. But all that's happened in the meantime is Alan Thomas yet again taking the responsibility on his shoulders, driving strong to the basket and getting to the free throw line for 2. It's been the recipe for success for Moycullen so far. They've got back to within 3. He left Moycullen off the hook on that occasion and misses the first free throw. But most interesting will be to see what Moycullen come with against this Moycullen zone, which they have not been able to break down. So we'll see what John Cunningham is drawn up in the timeout. Declan Wall and Liam Croke at the top of that zone for Moycullen. Moycullen running a couple of cutters, have Grant to the high post, they don't use him, go through Joe Tumman at the top. It's with Owen Kelly on the wing, round to James Kinnair, back to Owen Kelly, shot clock down to 5, it's swung out to Grant who will take another 3, it's long shot from 3 and Grant fired up, gives a shout to the crowd here. Timely 3-pointer from Moycullen, gets them to 50 points as Moycullen had begun to eat into that lead. Francis drives against Josh Marvesley and Josh just loses his footing at the wrong time. Francis gets all the way to the ring. Easy 2 for Moycullen, it's a 3-point game. As we've got under a minute to go in the third quarter. Josh swings it across the court to Grant, who a couple of dribbles, swings it over to Josh again, and Josh lines up a nice 3, he makes it. Slightly worrying for Moycullen that it continues to be just 3-point attempts, whereas Moycullen now have started getting to the ball. A total breakdown of Moycullen defence allows Liam Croke to drive to the basket. 28 seconds on the shot clock. Will Moycullen go for a 2 for 1? They obviously won't at this stage, so this might be their last possession of the quarter. James Kinnair from the corner. No, yet another offensive rebound from Moycullen. Offensive rebounds have been their bread and butter in this third quarter against the Moycullen zone. And Moycullen not yet on team fouls, so Grant foul won't send him to the line there. He'll get Moycullen a ball from the end line. Joe Tumman takes a seat as James Lyons comes back in. We've got 14 seconds on the shot clock, 16 seconds on the game clock. James Lyons in the corner. Moycullen could possibly hold for what would most likely be the last shot of the quarter. They do not do that. Grant takes the shot and it'll give Moycullen the chance to themselves get the final score of the period. Croke with the ball on the wing, swings it back up to Thomas. He's going to have to get it off quickly. He stops and pops. That looks good, but it's just that little bit too long, and Moycullen let off the hook. 49 to 53. We're in for a right little tasty final fourth quarter here. Don't go anywhere. Should be a good one. We'll be back with you right after this short break. Falter Ash, we're back for the final quarter. 4-point game. Alan Thomas lining things up for Moycullen. Switch on defense from Moycullen. And the ball it kind of ends up flowing through. James Kinnair putting his body on the line, gets down first on it. Gives Josh Marvesley the chance to go the other way, and a definite foul there from Ariaga. He knew what he was doing. Good experience play, stops the fast break. sends Moycullen to the sideline. And a concern here for Clorglen. Simon Francis coming up a little bit hobbled. He's shaken his right wrist, so something to keep an eye on for the remainder of the game. Not a player Clorglen can afford to lose at this stage. Ball with Josh, swings it over as far as Grant. Grant up to James Lyons, over as far as Josh, who takes on Thomas. But Thomas, good defense, forces Josh into a really difficult baseline jumper. Off back ring and out. Balls with Arriaga now for Clorglen, attacking the other way. Declan Wall back to Arriaga. Arriaga wide open, takes the three. He's not the man to leave open. We've gone 53-52, 1 point ball game. Moycullen have just not been able to get anything going against this Clorglen zone. Despite the space that's out there, they just have not been able to knock down shots, have not been able to get anything going into the middle. And they try a little pick and roll to see if they can get something going there. Josh with Jimmy, it's back with Josh at the top, swings it over as far as Owen. Owen's got it with 6 seconds left, a little two-man game between him and James Kinnair. That's a little bit better for Moycullen, at least the ball finds the inside of the paint. A little bit of movement gets them an offensive rebound if nothing else. It comes to Josh, who takes a long three, and 2 offensive rebounds in the 1 possession. James Kinnair is going to the line for 2. So some missed shots from Moycullen, but at least a better looking offense. They got the ball in as far as the high post, if nothing else. It wasn't just east-west. That movement, of course, makes it all the more different for Clorglen to try and find any sort of a box up, get some rebounds. As I said early on, James Kinnair, one of the best offensive rebounders around. He doing it his whole underage career, now at Super League level for Moycullen. Gets his reward with a chip to the free throw line, makes his first, miss the second, so we've got a 2 point game. Clorglen with a chance to get back in level pegging for the first time in the second half. They've been trailing since midway through the second quarter when Moycullen really established an early lead that they've held for most of the game, but Clorglen have slowly eaten into it with this zone. It's given them just enough to get back into the contest, even though they haven't hit many heights on offense except for this man, Alan Thomas, who has been unstoppable at times. Grant Olsen does enough that time, forced a tough shot off a ring, over the board and out. Moycullen get away with their 2 point lead still intact. And James Kinnair putting the ball into Owen Kelly. Grant with the ball in the wing, checking out his options, hits James Kinnair, or James Lyons at the top, back with James Lyons, who does exactly what's needed to be done here. A little bit of a drive into the key, and that's what's needed. A little bit of dribble penetration or pass penetration. You've got to get your feet in the lane against the zone and try and move them instead of just going east-west and allowing them to slide with you. Good move from James, gets his award, 2 points. It's a 4 point Moycullen lead with Declan Wall driving past James Lyons round the corner, does well, draws the foul against Jimmy, and it'll be a sideline ball for Clorglen. Second foul on Jimmy Lyons. 14 seconds in the shot clock. Men from Kerry looking to try and make this a 1 possession game again. Croak, the man with the ball at the top, crossover against Jimmy Lyons, goes out as far as Francis, who jab steps Josh marvellously. Excellent defense from Josh. Forces the tough shot from Francis, he missed it. Grant with the rebound, he sets it back to Owen Kelly, who'll swing it to James Kinnair. James, the left hand drive, kick out to Grant, no hesitation from Grant, pops up the 3. He's been Moycullen's best shooter so far today, but he just misses on that one. And Liam Croak takes it the other way. Very kind of out of nowhere aggressive move from Liam Croak, but he nearly made it. It finds its way to Declan Wall, and as I said, been breaking our hearts for 20 years, does it again there, and he brings Clorglen within 2, 56-54. Moycullen again, short on the shot. Just Croak, who, as I say, somewhat out of nowhere, has got very aggressive the last 2 possessions and tries on that occasion, doesn't get it to go, but it's good defense on the far side by Arriaga, who blocks Josh marvellously going to the lane, and it's a pushing foul called against Owen Kelly from Moycullen. It is the 3rd foul on Owen Kelly. Alan Thomas now with the ball for Clorglen. staying in his aggressive mood, hits it out to Croak, who, like many a player before him in this NUIG Sports Arena court, gets fooled by the sidelines. There are a rough estimate of 200,000 lines on this NUIG court. It's almost impossible as a visiting player to get to grips with them in just one game. So often a visiting team steps out of bounds. It happens in the fourth quarter here to Clorglen. Liam Croak the victim. Not the first, not the last. Grant Olsen now with the ball at the high post, swings it to Josh Marvellously, over to Jimmy Lyons, who goes against Alan Thomas, but Thomas with good defence forces the pass. It's swung eventually over as far as Owen Kelly, who again is cut off, and it ends up with Josh Marvellously. Owen, he does exactly what Croak did on the far side and steps out of bounds, but I think that was more down to excellent Clorglen defence than it was to the confusing lines in the court. Just shows you, even though you're in a zone defence, you can still be playing good man-to-man, individual sliding defence. Clorglen do it there, stop the drives, get the reward, and they'll have a chance to come back and perhaps even take the lead. Again, they haven't been level or in the lead since midway through the second quarter. Is this the time they're going to do it? Let's see if the Moycullen defence can stand up against it. Ball is in with Arriaga, who goes up strong against Josh Marvellously. Good defence from Josh, and he also gets the rebound. So excellent showing from Josh. Sets the screen then for Owen Kelly, who comes off it, swings it to James Lyons. James, nice and confident, pops the three. That gets a huge reaction from the crowd and bench here. That's James' second three of the game. Couldn't have come at a better time. He gives Moycullen a little bit of breathing space. Clorglen coming the other way and into a huge amount of traffic there. I think that is Francis. It can be difficult at times to tell the difference between Francis and Arriaga. They have a similar look to them, but yes, that was Francis there. And we're going to be coming back with, I think, 2 shots to Francis. It's going to be a timeout in the meantime, so we'll have a 1 minute break as Moycullen talk things over, and we'll be back to you right after that. So as we come back for what should be a really exciting finish of the game here, 5 minutes 25, saying a quick hi to everyone who's watching us around the world. A few words there from our man in Germany, Paddy Lyons, who's having a great season with Anserschleben Tigers. I apologise for presumably butchering the name. You can catch a lot of Paddy's games. He's playing as a full-time professional over there in Germany. You look up Anserschleben Tigers. You're good look at spelling it. You're not going to get it off my pronunciation, but a lot of Paddy's games are live online there, and it's an absolutely fantastic standard. Paddy really flying the flag for the club well abroad. And best of luck to them as they look to finish out their season on a good note. So back here in Galway, it's really tense times. It's a 4-point game. Moycullen just about hanging on to the lead that they established there in the second quarter. As they continue to try and break down this Clorglen zone. Just a little bit of a loose pass from Kyle into Grant, and it gets knocked out. It's going to be 7 seconds of the shot clock, and Kyle's going to have to recover it here in the wing. He squares up against Arriaga, going nowhere, passes into Grant, and we get a little bit lucky there. Grant gets it off the ring. He got a not bad luck in the end, but it doesn't go, and Clorglen have a chance to come through the way, and total Moycullen confusion, and they get completely let off the hook there as Francis gets all the way to the ring, in between two minds, I think, between laying it in and dunking it, and ends up doing neither. Misses it, and the ball's with Grant Olsen in the baseline. He goes up. That's surely a continuation foul, but it's not going to be. I think they're going to call it unsportsmanlike instead. I'm not sure why it's not an unsportsmanlike and one, because Grant had certainly gathered the ball and was going up. That's definitely the argument that John Cunningham, the coach, is going to be making here, that he had gathered the ball. So I'm not sure exactly how the referee read that, but he read. I'm going to see what he's saying here. So he's simply saying that it was before Grant gathered the ball going up for his shot. So it won't. The basket will not count. Grant will be going to the line for 2, and he'll have possession afterwards. So I have to say I missed exactly what the unsportsmanlike call was, but referee saw something there. The call was on Arriaga, who's talking it over with the referee, who seems to be indicating that he maybe threw a little bit of a... I'm going to use the word dirty elbow. I'm not saying Arriaga had anything dirty by it, but just an elbow that wouldn't have been normal in the play, and ultimately called unsportsmanlike foul. So after all that, Iberk's taking the ball in the post, kicks it out to James Kinnear, who shoots the 3 off the back iron and comes out as far as Liam Croke, who sets up the American into the game. Issa Brandon, they've given Alan Thomas, who's been the danger man, a little bit of a break. So slightly surprising time, you'd say, to give him a break. Let's see if it pays off. It doesn't that time, as Brandon comes up short. You'd have to imagine that Alan Thomas was tired or something, because he had been the danger man. Very surprising to see him go to the bench. We won't complain about it. Well, we won't so long as this man, Issa Brandon, doesn't get Isha Brandon doesn't go off on a bit of a run. He's going to the line for 2, and it's a foul on 12 Moycullen, which is Kyle Cunningham. Kyle a little bit surprised by it, but that is the call on the court. So Issa Brandon at the line for 2. Brandon makes the first and now lined up for the second, trying to make it a 4-point game. He doesn't, so it remains 5. Killorglin still in this 2-3 zone. Wall and Croke at the top, and Wall, all 5'0" a Wall, manages to get his hands to the pass and steal it off. The Moycullen attack. Brandon now, who drives down the lane looking for the contact, drive and score, and he'll have a chance to go to the line for a 3-point play and bring it back to just a 1-point game. Substitutions on both sides, and it's Owen Kelly who's coming into the game for Moycullen for James Lyons, and ready to come in for Killorglin is Alan Thomas, who will come in for the shooter. If Brandon makes this shot, he'll be substituted. So it was just a short break for Alan Thomas. Decent minutes there from Issa Brandon. Gives a little Kevin Durant shrug at the free throw line, makes the free throw, and he's not going to be subbed out. The Killorglin bench has cancelled the sub. Going to give Alan Thomas just a little bit more of a break. I mean, we only have 3 minutes 50 seconds left in the game here. Will be interesting to see what the thought process is here with the Killorglin team. Surprised to see Thomas on the bench. There you have it. 60-59, 1-point game. And a lot of bang there on the sideline, no foul called, and it ends up just being out of bounds. James Kinnear to take it in for Moycullen. 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Can Moycullen get anything going against this zone? Balls with grand old well it was. It slips through his hands, and it's Declan Wall who takes it going the other way. Declan up for 2. Too strong off the back ring, but it drops eventually for Arriaga, who puts in the 2, and it's a 1-point lead for Killorglin. They have taken the lead for the first time in the second half. 6th lead change of the game, as we have under 3.5 minutes to go in the game. Owen Kelly with the ball at the top, pushes it into Iberk, who gets hacked, absolutely hacked on the block, hits the ground, but he will get an inbound ball for Moycullen. Shot clock reset to 14. Owen Kelly takes it in, hits Grant, or hits Iberk on the short one, and Iberk misses everything. Killorglin come away with the ball. They've got the lead and possession after Moycullen leading the entire game. here we are now with the visitors who have the lead and really look to be the team with all the momentum, but Francis gets stopped by Grant Olsen on the drive. It's Owen Kelly coming the other way. He eventually finds the trailing Ibrox, who puts up the 3. That one's just too long, and a little bit of a fight for the ball, and eventually finds his way to Arriaga, who kicks it up to Brandon. Brandon drives strong, absolutely clocks James Kinnear. I can't believe there wasn't an offensive foul, but anyways, Moycullen get the ball one way or another, and it comes out to Kyle Cunningham, who swings it back out. James Kinnear straight back up after getting walloped in the face and passes it into Ivor Callan. Ivor makes the 2. We've got a 7th lead change of the game, and Moycullen up by a point with 2 minutes 36 left on the clock. Game really heating up here. A lot of the shouting. I'm not sure what the there. I presume it's going to be a timeout called. No, I think it might have just been banged to. Yeah. Anyways, whatever the exact rule is on that, they were allowed the substitution, and Brandon goes to the bench, and the danger man for Clorgan, Alan Thomas, back into the contest. Moycullen 1 point lead. Where else would you rather be? Super League game, 2.5 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. Single basket game. Ball with Croke, and Liam Croke, give the man credit. No hesitation, puts up the 3. Huge basket for the visitors. So great shot from Croke, gives his team the 2 point lead. Let's see if Moycullen can answer. It's with Kyle Cunningham on the wing, turns down the 3 point shot, drives, kicks it to James Kinnear, who ball goes through his hands and comes off a Clorgan player, and it's going to go out of bounds to Moycullen with just 9 seconds left on the shot clock.
9. Grant, motion.
So there'll be 9 seconds left on the shot clock. We've got 2 minutes 7 seconds left on the game clock. James Kinnear is going to have to take a blood substitution here. I thought he got absolutely clocked on the face a couple of plays ago, and he is in fact bleeding from it, so he's going to have to go to the bench. Bit of a loss. He's been going very well for Moycullen, but Josh Marvellously equally has had an excellent game after an excellent season, it has to be said. So not a huge drop off from Moycullen. Oh, that's a fantastic pass from Owen Kelly. Goes to Ibrox, who just unfortunately can't connect. And Clorgan have a chance to come back now. They've got a 2 point lead. They've got possession. It's under 2 minutes on the clock. Huge defensive stance needed from Moycullen. Ibrox going up against Arriaga, who drives baseline, misses it, but no, it's Francis, apologies, and he gets the rebound. But what a defensive possession from Owen Kelly, who strips it. And after an absolute manic play, the ball bouncing through a number of players' legs. Owen dives on it along with Alan Thomas. Jump ball. It's going to be Moycullen possession. We're going to get just a small chance for a breather here, as the court needs to be wiped. A little bit of condensation and sweat after the guys putting their bodies on the line trying to get a loose ball.
Well, it's 1, Barry, 1 timeout.
It'll be Moycullen ball, but of course the next possession arrow will go to Clorgan if there is another tie-up. So let's see what Moycullen can come up with. They've got Kelly, Cunningham, Talon, Olsen and Marvellously on the court. The ball's with Owen Kelly at the moment. Swings it over against that zone. More east-west from Moycullen, unfortunately. Let's see if they can get a bit of penetration. It's a ball screen by Ibrox and Grant. It's with Owen. There's 7 seconds in the shot clock. He comes off the screen from Grant here. Possibly a foul. Doesn't get called. It's with Kyle now with 3 seconds from way downtown from Kyle. But really, that was a deep shot, and I think that was a summation of what we'd seen for a lot of the second half so far. East-west from Moycullen. Can't get Anthem going north-south. End up with a long 3-pointer shot. No good. Don't get Anthem from it, and Clorgan have the ball up 2 with a minute 20 seconds left. Ball's in Thomas's hands as he takes a screen from Arriaga and now isolates against Josh Marvellously. Possibly an offensive foul. Doesn't get called. He does ever so well and just takes the bump, puts up the shot, and it's a 2-possession game now all of a sudden. Clorgan up by 4 after Moycullen have led for the vast majority of this contest. That's no good if you're not leading at the end, however, obviously. Owen Kelly's going to have to try and do something about it here. It's out to Josh Marvellously on the wing. Looking to take the ball screen from Ibrox. Going nowhere. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Owen Kelly left to try and create. Kicks to Josh Marvellously, who puts up the 3, and Josh makes the 3. Absolute steel in his veins. Huge 3 from Josh. It's a 1-point game. Well, we're a little bit of excitement on this final weekend of the season. Where else would you rather be, as I say? Josh Marvellously one-on-one here against Thomas, who swings out to Declan Wall, down as far as Francis in the corner. Good defensive stance from Moycullen. Kyle Cunningham with the rebound. Owen Kelly with a chance to try and see if he can find something. We've got 25 seconds on the game clock. Grant Olsen with a jab step, left, wide open, takes the 3, and that surely was going in and rolled back out. I'm not sure how that ball didn't drop. Great 3 from Grant, and did everything but go down, and it's going to be a timeout from Killorglin. We'll be back right after this. Do not go anywhere. This is going to be a cracking finish. We'll be coming back to you now with Killorglin possession after that. Just about miss from Grant Olsen. It looked good to me and rolled all around the ring, but eventually bounced out. Killorglin get the ball off the rebound that followed. Moycullen will obviously be probably looking for a quick trap and a steal. Then, if they can't get anything in the backcourt, they're going to have to foul. As we're under, shot clocks are turned off, and we nearly get a strip there from Kyle Cunningham. Shades of Larry Bird there in the Boston Celtics against the Detroit Pistons, but doesn't quite get it. Wow, that would have been some turn up there if Kyle had managed to just get another step on it and pick out the ball, but he did well to just get a hand to it. Hopefully it'll give Killorglin a little bit of nerves. Grant Olsen and Josh Marsley doubling team and Thomas here, but he does manage to get the ball in. Let's see if Moycullen can get a quick trap and a steal, but a very good. So eventually Josh does well to scramble across and get the foul, and it'll be Simon Francis who will be going to the line for 2. Of course, no matter what he does here, Moycullen will get a chance to come back. We've got 12 seconds on the game clock, so barring an offensive rebound or something like that from Killorglin, Moycullen will have a chance to either tie or take the lead. John Cunningham surely will take a timeout if he scores the second one and advance the ball instead of a play. Francis misses the first. Free throws become so much harder in these situations, of course. He misses the first, and it's going to be a huge box out for Moycullen if he does miss the second. Any of our American friends watching, of course, players can't call a timeout, so Moycullen, players cannot call a timeout on the court, so it's going to be just up to Moycullen. Grant Olsen with the ball, drives strong to the basket, great move from Grant, puts it up, that surely goes down, it doesn't. Grant working hard, gets the rebound, goes up, gets fouled, and he'll be going to the line for 2. Well, if ever a player in a play deserved to be the win in the game, it's Grant Olsen getting an offensive rebound. He is the hardest working man in the Super League, does so well to get to the lane there, draws a foul, and he'll be going to the line for 2, down by 1. Where else would you rather be as a player? These are the moments you really want to be at the line, with a chance to win the game for your team. So many permutations here, so I'm not even going to try and guess them. We'll just see how Grant gets on the line. Looks good, and it goes in and out. He's been so unlucky with a couple of shots in these last minute or so. So Grant now with a chance to tie the game. 3 seconds left. It's up, it's good. Well done, Grant. That was not easy after missing the first. And it's going to be a timeout for Killorglin. If you go anywhere now, you're crazy. We're coming back. Killorglin ball. When we come back, level game, 3 seconds to go. We'll see you in a minute. Here we go. 3 seconds left. Clorglen, let's see what they have drawn up in the timeout. They've got Wall, Francis, Croak, Thomas and Arriaga out there. Moycullen, Cunningham, Olsen, Lyons, Kelly and Marvesley. Ball into Thomas. He knew it was going to go to him. He takes a couple of dribbles, shoves up the shot and it is just long and we are going to overtime. Great defense from Moycullen. And we'll have 5 more minutes of this. Should be a great one. What a way to finish the season here in the last weekend. We're going to take a short break for the minute break in between and we'll be back with the overtime of this Basketball Ireland Men's Super League contest. So after a panicked conversation here between our main tech man Rory Gilson and our cameraman for the day Corey Power, we believe we do have enough battery for you to bring you this overtime and however many overtimes there is to come. Let's keep fingers crossed that's the case, because this has been an absolute thriller of a fourth quarter and Clorglen get things going with a missed shot from Thomas. Owen Kelly coming the other way from Moycullen. Let's see if Moycullen can finally get something going against this zone. It's with Kyle Cunningham now on the wing, who's assessing the options, swings it over to Grant Olsen at the top, who had that clutch free throw to send the game into overtime. And it's Owen Kelly drawing the foul against Declan Wall, and of course team fouls carry over from the fourth quarter, so we could be seeing a lot of free throws. Foul called on Declan Wall, and it'll be 2 shots for Owen Kelly. It is the 4th foul on the player coach Declan Wall. Of slight interest here, of course, will be that Clorglen have only travelled with 8 players, a clean divide between 4 professionals and 4 amateurs on their squad today. They're 2 Europeans, 2 Americans and 4 Irish guys. And so if they have a few guys fouled out, maybe that comes into play. Moycullen, of course, being the home team, have a lot deeper of a bench, and We aren't at that stage yet. It's simply a 1 point lead for Moycullen after that Owen Kelly free throw, and Liam Croke bringing the ball up against Owen Kelly. Takes the screen from Ariaga and does a nice little hesitation move. That's a lovely move from Croke. Kicks it over to his coach Declan Wall from the 3, and Declan Wall, sucked the man 43 in overtime, still doing it. You just gotta love it. Even as a Moycullen fan, you just gotta admire Wall and his competitiveness, and that's a huge 3 for his team. And he comes in with a hand on the steal and knocks it out of bounds. He's doing it all for Clorglen, the player coach. He's given his side a 2 point lead, 67-69. We enjoyed this game, brought to you by McCann Central Moycullen and Origin, of course, our sponsors for today's game. Thanks very much, guys, for your support throughout the year and throughout the seasons. Right now it's Owen Kelly with another pass into Ibrook, and that's the third time I think they've connected on a lovely little in-lane short pass amidst all the traffic. Really nice little inbound plays from the Moycullen team. So our under 10 boys who are half-time entertainment give a great cheer, but to Ibrook knocking down one. Fortunately it wasn't as the game was being played. Ibrook gets his eye in though and knocks down the free throw. New fan favourite for the under 10 boys, I think, is Ibrook. He brings Moycullen back to within a point, and he brings them level. So excellent job from Ibrook. Legs getting tired here in overtime. It's not the easiest time to be knocking down your free throws, but Ibrook goes 2 from 2. Thomas now for Clorglen going to try and answer the bell. It's with Francis, who drives strong against Josh Marvesey. Great defense from Josh, and he does just enough to force the bad shot off the side of the board, and Kyle Cunningham and Owen Kelly going to go the opposite way from Moycullen and look to establish a lead for the home side. We've had 8 lead changes in the game and almost another one there. Josh Marvesey just off, and Moycullen fall asleep on the far end. And wow, great finish from Liam Crowe, because he was hammered by Grant Olsen on the play, and that's a less than a point there. Josh just took a little bit too long after missing the shot. He didn't get straight back on defence, and Clorglen take the most of it. Ball over the top. Liam Crowe does very well to finish strong. He's a chance to get a 3 point lead for Clorglen. No, I'll say he makes no mistake. It looked good, but it bounces around and out, so it's only a 2 point lead for the visitors. Moycullen with a chance to tie or go ahead. Owen Kelly trying to see what's available. Comes off a screen from Grant. It's very crowded for Moycullen at the top, and it's shot clock's down to 10 seconds. Another somewhat static offense for Moycullen. Josh does well to create a bit of penetration. Kicks it out to Kyle Cunningham, who we've got our first wedgie of the game. Going to be a jump ball, I'd imagine. And since Clorglen started the overtime, the possession arrow goes to Moycullen, and they'll have a chance for another attack with 14 seconds in the shot clock.
Josh, corner.
As we have here in a short break, remember we're back tomorrow, 4 p.m. against Neptune, but that's for them, this is for now. Josh does really well, comes off a ball screen there, and that's just Josh will be shooting the ball really well today, and that's a lovely in rhythm move from him. He brings us back level, 71 apiece. Alan Thomas now crosses over against Ibrook, and no complaints there. That's definitely a foul. I think that's going to be Ibrook fouled out of the game. So James Kinnaird, after his blood substitution, coming back in. So great game from Ibrook today, but he takes a seat with 5 fouls. James Kinnaird, the man to come back in from, and Alan Thomas will be going to the line for Clorglen. Co-scoring the goal for Ernie Inish, Shocked O'Hain and I Shocked O'Hain. In overtime here in the Men's Super League, Saoirse and Heron. Alan Thomas, cool as you like, under the roaring attention of our home crowd, led by the under 10 boys, doing their best to put him off, but Thomas not phased one bit, knocks down 2 from 2. So Clorglen. Point Contussi Inish, well, Biognach 3 Nomad Fochi Inish. I think there's a bit of blood perhaps on, yeah, there's a bit of blood on James Kinnaird's jersey. So we have a spare jersey here. Assistant coach Ger Lyons up like a flash and has spare set ready to go. Clorglen are somewhat unbelievably arguing that he shouldn't be allowed to continue play because he won't be wearing number 7 if he comes back in. I'm not sure exactly where the sporting merit is in that, but so the referees, a bit of common sense prevails there and are allowing him to simply turn his jersey inside out. We have a spare jersey, of course, here as well, but they don't need it. Just inside out. James will play as number X, I guess, for the remainder of the game. Owen Kelly brings the ball up for Moycullen. Kicks it out to Kyle on the wing. Swings through against Croak. Ball finds Owen again. Moycullen a little bit east-west here once more, and it's ends up with just a 3-pointer, but at least it's a 3-pointer from Kyle Cunningham. So not all 3-pointers are made equal. Kyle's been shooting the ball lovely. It's the 9th lead change of the game. Moycullen up 74-73 and a huge bucket from Kyle. James Kinnear, inside out jersey and all, dealing up against Thomas, but it's a kick to Croak who goes against Owen Kelly. Croak's had a really good fourth quarter and overtime, but it's Declan Wall now who drives strong to the basket, too strong off the back of the ring, but Francis managed to get the rebound. He can't get it to go, and after a good tip from Josh Marversey, Kyle is the one who picks up the rebound with Owen Kelly. A little bit of a fast break here, but Clorgan do well to get back, but they've got the lines mixed up a little bit, scrambling somewhat, and it's allowed Kyle to get down the lane. He kicks it out as far as Grant. There's 9 on the shot clock. 7 seconds on the clock as the ball's with James. He's going to have to try and create something. Desperate here. Grant does really well to get Anton off, and that is an absolutely superb basket. He's the man we're giving the paycheck to for a reason, and he's come up trumps us all year, and that's what the professional American does for you. Finds a bucket when you need it. Big defense from Moycullen needed now. Josh does really well against Francis inside. Ball swung to Declan Wall, who drives to the basket, but loses possession, and Kyle picks up the possession here. I'm not sure. I know Moycullen are trying to keep things calm, but they had a great chance for a fast break there and have turned it down. Let's hope they don't come to regret that, because the shot clock's gone down to 12 seconds. Not the time for Moycullen to become too possessive or too passive. Need to keep that aggressive mindset, and they're going to need another score for sure. And Owen Kelly banks it long, and there's a chance over the top here from Clorgan. They miss it. Arriaga's wide open in the front court, but Declan Wall steps up to the plate and knocks down the 3. And Quinn and Moycullen going to be rid of this guy Declan Wall. How many times has he broken our heart? It's 76-76 with 1 minute left on the clock. Oh wow, we could be going to a second overtime here, but let's see. Hopefully Moycullen can find something on the attack here. Kyle Cunningham takes the responsibility on, and that really was close, just off the inside of the back iron. Bounces out, and we will have a timeout from Clorgan. Chance for me to grab my breath as well. You grab a quick breather. We'll be back in under a minute's time for what should be a thrilling final 54 seconds to this overtime period. So Clorgan have talked things over. Let's see what they come out in this really crucial offensive set. They've got Arriaga, Croak, Francis, Thomas and Wall on the court. Good switch here from James Kinnear and Owen Kelly. Josh Marversey ends up at the end on the top of Francis. That's what Clorgan have obviously run to clear out for Francis, and that was a well drawn up play. They got the matchup I think they wanted there, with Francis going strong to the ring, and he draws a foul. He'll have a chance to establish a lead for Clorgan. Of course, plenty of twists and turns left in this one. We've got 41 seconds to go, so multiple possessions for both teams still. Or under 10 boys doing their absolute best to do what they can to put Francis off at the line, but he stays nice, cool, calm and collected, knocks it down and gives Clorgan a lead, or 10th lead change of the game. 77-76. Cloglan, for some reason, not sending anyone into the offensive rebounds for this, as if there was only 3 seconds left in the game. But maybe they knew he was just going to knock down the free throws. Confidence from the teammates. It's a 2-point lead for Cloglan. Moycullen now really need a basket on this possession. Every possession so crucial. Ball with Kelly on the wing. Takes the screen from James Kinnear. Swings it out as far as Kyle, who turns down the chance of the three and instead does a really nice job of driving and dishing. And that's a beautiful offense from Moycullen. Right when they need it, they come up with one of their best possessions of the game. Great play from Owen, Kyle and James, all connecting to draw things level 7-8 apiece. And Grant Olsen takes on the responsibility and takes the defensive charge against Thomas, who comes off the ball screen against Arriaga. A couple of switches here and they go against Josh marvellously at the top. Good defense from Josh. Excellent defense from Josh. And it's ball loose on the ground, and who else but Owen Kelly comes up against it and gets a foul call against him by Alan Thomas. Brilliant play from Owen, and there's only 0.5 seconds left on the clock. Apologies on the commentary there now. I lost slight track of the exact time. The clock is behind me here. My man beside me, Rory Gilson, was trying to point it out to me. Anyways, we have 0.5 seconds left on the clock. Owen Kelly at the line. Level scores. Basically a chance to win the game. Man who recently put a Sigerson's on Ireland medal into his back pocket as centre back for NUIG. Crowd goes dead quiet. And Owen just short, dead on line, but just dead short. Sorry, dead on line, but just short. He's got a chance still to win this with the second free throw. Moycullen sending Grant and Josh to maybe get a tip in. They certainly don't want to commit an offensive foul or a loose ball foul and give Cloglan a chance to win, but let's see. Can Owen do it? He does it! Owen Kelly, you legend. Great free throw. Let's see, all they need to do is just try and get a tip to this. They get it. Josh marvellously with the all-important tip, and well done, Moycullen. Gorgeous globe. Hashbontish Inklog, great showing from Moycullen. Really good showing from the visiting Cloglan. What a fantastic game. Super League basketball at its best. Maybe not the most high-scoring game, but both teams putting everything on the line defensively. Really great showing. Last weekend of the season, teams are tired, but put in a great display for us today. And of course, we're back with you tomorrow. Huge thanks to our cameraman today, Corey Power, technical guy beside me here, Rory Gilson, to our table officials, Barry Kinnear, Paul O'Brien and Ronan Waters, and to all the supporters who came in and joined us. And let's hope you can join us tomorrow for the game at 4 p.m. against Neptune. Going to meet them against us, Octavel Lane and Yov, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow against Neptune, 4 p.m.